Gervonta "Tank" Davis did it again. Another triumph, another opponent astounded by his strength. But here's the twist. No one is actually talking about how Tank accomplished it. The world's most dangerous fighter, who has maintained his undefeated streak, appears to face a far more complicated future than ever before. Is Tank truly as invincible as we think? Is it time for him to tackle the most difficult difficulties of his career? Lamont Roach, Tank's latest opponent, was no slouch. Roach entered the arena with confidence, stating he had the perfect strategy for exposing Tank's weaknesses. He assumed his speed and defense would be sufficient to counter Tank's brute force. But once again, Tank demonstrated that when battling him, there is no ideal plan, only power. Roach came in with fire, believing that he was the only one capable of breaking the code. Tank, however, battles not just with strength, but also with experience, patience, and precision. Roach had some moments, but they were few and far between. Tank made sure of it. Tank figured him out, and it was over. Roach was left grasping at straws, hoping for an opening that didn't appear. With each round, it became evident that Tank was more than just skilled at his job. He was a master at managing the battle, dictating the tempo, and eventually landing the huge shot that ended it. What was most remarkable about Tank's triumph was not how he destroyed Roach in the ring, but how the crowd reacted. Some of boxing's biggest personalities were seated ringside, and let's just say, they were not impressed. Terrence "Bud" Crawford, Devin Haney, and Shakur Stevenson were all there to watch Tank play, and the tone was telling. Crawford did not hold back. In a frank but intelligent assessment, he stated that Tank's success was not due to actually challenging himself. Instead, he believed that Tank's squad had strategically chosen opponents to keep him undefeated while avoiding actual competition. According to Crawford, Tank's record was based on safe fights rather than career-defining contests. The issue is, Crawford wasn't the only one who spoke up. Devin Haney, the current undisputed lightweight champion, has been demanding a match with Tank for months. Haney does not buy into the hoopla. He feels Tank's power overshadows reality. Haney is confident in his ability to outbox Tank and break him down over the course of 12 rounds. Haney believes the excitement around Tank is just that, hype. He believes Tank has been playing it safe, avoiding the most difficult fights in favor of keeping a flawless record. Haney believes that it is about skill rather than might. He is convinced that if given the opportunity, he will outwork Tank and demonstrate that skill trumps power. Then there's Shakur Stevenson, another fighter who has been vocal about Tank's opponents. Shakur feels Tank is protected, with his camp meticulously selecting battles to maintain his undefeated streak while avoiding the division's toughest obstacles. For months, Shakur has referred to himself as the only fighter capable of genuinely neutralizing Tank's power, asserting that his defensive abilities, ring IQ, and general skill set would enable him to shred Tank in ways that no one else could. Shakur's goal is not only to defeat Tank, but also to uncover the flaws in Tank's seemingly unbreakable armor. But the game altered the moment. Turki Al-Sheikh made an announcement that sent shockwaves across the boxing community. Tank, long regarded as a fighter who sought to maintain control of his own career, had agreed to collaborate closely with Turki. The details were unclear at first, but the parts quickly fell into place. Turki confirmed that Tank has accepted to 2 major fights this year. What are the names? Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson. It wasn't simply talk anymore. These were actual deals. Tank was not going to avoid the top challengers anymore. His team had negotiated these games, and the statement signaled that the days of easy victories were past. Tank would have to prove himself like never before as the division's most difficult trials loomed ahead of him. The fight with Haney had been a long time coming. Haney has been vocal about his view that he is the world's best lightweight, and defeating Tank would prove it. He's demonstrated that he has the ability to outbox Tank, tear him down during a fight, and show the world that Tank's power is a myth. For Haney, the battle is about establishing he is the division's true king. He believes Tank's undefeated record is a facade, with carefully planned matchups that never truly tested Tank's abilities. If given the chance, Haney believes he can dispel the notion of Tank's invincibility. On the other hand, Shakur Stevenson has been just as outspoken. Shakur does not believe Tank poses a real threat. He sees him as a boxer who has been safeguarded by his management and promoter, and who has been sent hand-picked opponents to keep his record spotless. Shakur is certain that Tank's power will not be enough to defeat him. He feels Tank will struggle to manage his defensive ability, ring IQ, and movement. Shakur has declared himself Tank's kryptonite, and he is prepared to prove it. For him, it's not just about defeating Tank, it's about dispelling the aura of invincibility that has surrounded him for so long. But just when you thought things couldn't get any more dramatic, Oscar de la Hoya released another surprise. Ryan Garcia, whom Tank had previously defeated in a sensational knockout, has been calling for a rematch. Ryan is confident that he was not at his best in their first bout, blaming the weight loss for exhausting him and admitting that he made mistakes he would not repeat. De la Hoya, a firm believer in Ryan's potential, has been hyping the rematch, claiming that Ryan's power and quickness pose a real threat to Tank. The storyline surrounding the rematch is that Ryan has learned from his mistakes and will be ready to prove that he can defeat the apparently unstoppable Tank. The real narrative, however, is not just about the individual boxers, but also about what this signifies for Tank's future. A few months ago, there were allegations that Tank was unwilling to work with Turkey. He wanted to be independent, make his own judgments, and avoid being tied down by long-term contracts. Tank's career dynamics have evolved considerably when he began dealing directly with Turkey. Turkey is not your typical promoter. He's the one who organizes the big fights, puts up the money, and ensures that the division's greatest boxers finally face off. With Turkey in charge, avoiding the main contenders is no longer an option. Tank's undefeated record was built on carefully selected opponents, but with Turkey on his side, the gloves are off. The biggest fights in the division, Haney, Shakur, and Ryan, are no longer mere possibilities. They are happening. The stakes have never been higher for Tank. He is still the division's king, but now is the time to prove it. No more avoiding the greatest. No more meticulously crafted pairings. Tank is about to face his real-world challenges, and the world is watching. And just when you thought the situation couldn't get any more dramatic, Terence Crawford appeared. Crawford, who sits at ringside, has been one of Tank's harshest detractors. He's been urging Tank to step up and confront the most difficult challenges, and with the announcement of Tank's future battles against Haney and Shakur, Crawford's words seem more timely than ever. The boxing world is divided. Some think Tank's reign is far from over, while others believe the true test is about to begin. One thing is certain, Tank's future moves will determine his legacy. Tank's performance in the ring has always been about more than just defeating opponents. It's about establishing that he's the best, no matter who stands across from him. However, as the sport's biggest names prepare to fight him, the issues regarding Tank's legacy mount. Can he continue to dominate? Or will one of Tank's top challengers, Haney, Shakur, or Garcia, finally break the streak and demonstrate that his reign has been founded on a meticulously constructed facade? The boxing community is waiting with bated breath. The big tests are coming. The question is simple. Will Tank Davis remain untouchable, or is his reign at the top coming to an end? The answer is right around the bend.